The last person I expected to lose on my 62nd birthday was my daughter. Not after everything. Not after the nights I worked double shifts so she could go to college. Not after the years I spent eating instant noodles while secretly putting money into her savings account. Not after raising her alone when her father walked away and decided freedom mattered more than family. Yet there I stood in the middle of a crowded restaurant, surrounded by relatives, neighbors, and friends, holding a birthday cake while my daughter looked me directly in the eyes and said words that shattered something deep inside me. "I'm done pretending, Mom. I don't want you in my life anymore." The room fell silent. Even the waiters stopped moving. For a second, I honestly thought I had misunderstood. "Emily," I whispered. She crossed her arms. "No. Let me finish. For years, you've controlled everything. Every decision. Every choice. You always make yourself the victim. I'm tired of it." The knife slipped from my hand and clattered against the table. People looked away. Nobody wanted to witness what was happening. "Sweetheart, what are you talking about?" "I'm talking about my life," she snapped. "I'm talking about finally being free from your guilt." My chest tightened. This couldn't be real. This was my daughter. The little girl who used to climb into my bed during thunderstorms. The teenager whose tears I wiped away after her first heartbreak. The woman whose wedding I paid for when she and her husband couldn't afford it. "Emily, if I've done something." "You have." Her voice was cold. Colder than I had ever heard. "You make everything about yourself. Even today. This party wasn't supposed to be about you." I stared at her. "It's my birthday." "Exactly." A few people shifted uncomfortably. Someone coughed. Nobody spoke. Then she delivered the final blow. "I don't consider you family anymore." The words hit harder than any slap. "I'm done. Don't call me. Don't visit. Don't expect to see your grandchildren." I felt my knees weaken. The grandchildren. Oliver and Sophie. The two little souls who gave meaning to my mornings. "Emily, please." But she was already grabbing her purse. Her husband Daniel looked uncomfortable but followed her. Within seconds they were gone. The restaurant remained frozen. Nobody knew what to say. Neither did I. I stood there smiling. A strange smile. The kind people wear when their heart is breaking but they don't want anyone to see. Then I quietly sat down and blew out the birthday candles myself. The wish I made never came true. That night I cried until sunrise. Not dramatic tears. Not loud sobs. Just the silent kind that leave your pillow wet. The kind only parents understand. Because when your child rejects you, something inside you questions your entire existence. Had I failed? Had I been selfish? Had I really spent decades hurting the person I loved most? For 2 days, I replayed every memory. Every argument. Every disagreement. Every mistake. Maybe she was right. Maybe I had been too protective. Maybe I called too often. Maybe I worried too much. But disowning me? That felt impossible. On the third morning, I was sitting alone in my kitchen drinking coffee when I heard a loud engine outside. I glanced through the window. A massive moving truck was parked in front of my house. I frowned. Wrong address. It had to be. I wasn't moving. The driver climbed out. Then another worker. Then another. A team of movers began unloading boxes. My confusion turned into concern. I walked outside. "Excuse me," I called. The driver checked a clipboard. "Margaret Dawson?" "Yes. This delivery is for you." My stomach dropped. "For me?" "That's right." He handed me paperwork. The sender's name made my hands tremble. Emily Dawson. My daughter. The same daughter who had disowned me 3 days earlier. What is this? The driver shrugged. Everything from the storage unit. Storage unit? Yes, ma'am. I stared blankly. What storage unit? Unit 417. I knew that number. I had rented it 28 years earlier. Back when Emily was 4 years old. The unit held memories. Thousands of them. Boxes I hadn't touched in decades. Photographs. Letters. Drawings. Old toys. Home videos. Pieces of our life. But Emily didn't know it existed. At least I thought she didn't. The movers continued carrying box after box into my garage. When they finally left, I stood there staring at mountains of memories. Confused. Heartbroken. And strangely afraid. Then I noticed an envelope taped to the top box. My name was written across the front. Mom. The handwriting was Emily's. My pulse quickened. I opened it. Inside was a single page. The first sentence nearly made me collapse. Mom, if you're reading this, I owe you the truth. I sat down immediately. My hands shook as I continued. 3 months ago, I learned something that changed everything. I blinked. What? I whispered aloud. The letter continued. I found Dad. My breath caught. Her father. The man who abandoned us 35 years ago. The man who never paid support. Never called. Never sent birthday cards. Never cared. Emily had spent years wondering about him. And apparently she had found him. I kept reading. He told me stories about you. Horrible stories. My heart sank. Of course. According to him, you kept us apart. You stole money from him. You manipulated everyone. He said you turned me against him because you wanted control. Tears blurred the page. I already knew where this was going. Emily had believed him. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I believed every word. The letter continued for several pages. She described reconnecting with her father. How he welcomed her. How he acted loving. How he convinced her she had been lied to her entire life. Then came the birthday confrontation. I planned it. My stomach twisted. I wanted to hurt you the way I believed you'd hurt him. Each word felt like a knife. But then the tone changed. Everything changed. 3 days before your birthday, I visited Dad's house unexpectedly. I continued reading. He wasn't alone. A chill ran through me. He didn't know I was there. The next paragraph explained everything. Emily had overheard her father speaking to a friend. Laughing. Bragging. Mocking her. Mocking me. Mocking everyone. According to the letter, he admitted he abandoned us because he didn't want responsibility. He admitted he never paid support because he preferred spending money on himself. Then he said something that shattered Emily's world. Margaret was the only decent thing that ever happened to that man, one friend supposedly said. Her father laughed. Yeah, and the idiot daughter actually believed I was the victim. I covered my mouth. The tears came instantly. Emily had written every detail. She had recorded the conversation on her phone. She had confronted him. And he didn't deny it. Not once. Instead, he became angry. Cruel. The mask fell off. The loving father disappeared. The selfish man remained. I finally saw the truth, she wrote. I saw what you spent 35 years protecting me from. By now I was crying so hard I could barely see the page. But there was more. Much more. Emily explained that after leaving his house, she went searching for answers. She tracked down old family friends, former neighbors, people who knew us decades earlier. Every story confirmed the same thing. I had sacrificed everything for her. Everything. The vacations I never took. The relationships I ended because potential partners didn't want children. The jobs I accepted. The opportunities one missed. The dreams I quietly buried. All so she could have a better life. Then came the sentence that broke me. I spent weeks realizing how badly I had failed you. A tear landed on the paper. Then another. Then another. I don't expect forgiveness. I pressed the letter against my chest. Oh, Emily. The next section explained the moving truck. Apparently she had discovered the storage unit through old paperwork while helping organize family records. She visited it alone. Opened every box. Read every letter. Watched every video. Examined every photograph. She saw birthday cards I had saved. School projects. Hospital bracelets. Handwritten notes. Even old journals. One entry stopped her cold. The journal entry had been written when Emily was 8. Money was tight. I remembered that year vividly. The entry said, I skipped dinner tonight so Emily could have seconds. She'll never know. I had forgotten writing it. Emily hadn't. Mom, the letter continued, I sat on the floor of that storage unit for 4 hours and cried. By now I was crying too. Harder than I had in years. I finally understood what love looks like. The final page was shorter. Simple. Direct. Heartbreaking. I know words aren't enough. I know I hurt you in front of everyone. I know some wounds don't heal. But if there is any room left in your heart, I want my mother back. At the bottom was a handwritten note. Look outside. Confused, I lowered the letter. Then I heard another vehicle. I walked to the front door. A second truck had arrived. Not a moving truck. A passenger van. The side door opened. And suddenly 2 small figures came running toward me. Grandma. Oliver. Grandma. Sophie. They crashed into me so hard I nearly fell over. I wrapped my arms around them and sobbed. Real sobs. The kind that shake your entire body. A moment later, Emily stepped out. She looked exhausted. Her eyes were red. Like she hadn't slept. For several seconds neither of us moved. Then she started crying too. Mom. I couldn't speak. She walked closer. Mom, I'm so sorry. Years of memories flashed through my mind. The day she was born. Her first steps. Her graduation. Her wedding. Every moment. Every sacrifice. Every joy. Every heartbreak. And standing before me was still my daughter. Broken. Regretful. Human. I was wrong, she whispered. So wrong. I saw genuine pain in her eyes. Not excuses. Not pride. Pain. The kind that comes when someone realizes they've become the villain in a story they never meant to create. She fell to her knees. Actually fell. Right there on the driveway. Please forgive me. The grandchildren looked confused. Daniel stood behind her, silent. Waiting. The world seemed to stop. Part of me wanted answers. Part of me wanted accountability. Part of me wanted to hold on to the hurt. But a larger part remembered something important. Parents spend their entire lives teaching children how to recover from mistakes. What kind of mother would I be if I refused the lesson myself? I stepped forward. Pulled Emily to her feet. And hugged her. The sound she made will stay with me forever. A broken sound. A relieved sound. A daughter finally coming home. We stood there holding each other while years of pain dissolved between us. Not instantly. Not perfectly. But enough. Enough to begin again. That evening we opened every box from the storage unit together. Photographs covered the living room floor. The grandchildren laughed at old hairstyles. Daniel watched ancient home videos. Emily read letters she had written as a child. At one point she found a faded Mother's Day card. The paper was wrinkled and yellow with age. Inside, 8-year-old Emily had written, "When I grow up, I want to be just like my mom." She stared at those words for a long time. Then looked at me. "I forgot who you were." I squeezed her hand. "No." She frowned. "You didn't forget." "What do you mean?" "You got lost." Fresh tears filled her eyes. "And you still took me back." I smiled. "That's what mothers do." Outside, the sun was setting. Golden light filled the room. The grandchildren were laughing. The television played old family videos. My daughter sat beside me. And for the first time in months, maybe years, my heart felt peaceful. My 62nd birthday had nearly become the day I lost everything. Instead, 3 days later, a moving truck arrived carrying something far more valuable than boxes. It brought the truth. It brought healing. And most importantly, it brought my family home,